Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. Systemera has been promising us a roadmap for content updates for Astroneer in 2024, and it's here, I guess. It doesn't really reveal all that much, though. So here it is, the roadmap image from the Astroneer blog. As roadmaps go, there isn't much direction in this one. I don't typically dive into speculation, so I'm going to do my best to stick to what we see and try to extrapolate what I can from that. And at the end of the video, I'll share my opinion of the roadmap reveal. But first, I want to summarize Joe's blog post from the Astroneer blog. Astroneer released from early access into version 1.0 almost 5 years ago, and after all this time, they want to shake things up. There will be 4 updates next year, one of which will be a full expansion, and all limited time events will receive a refresh. Oh yeah, and the entire thing is all under the header of Year of the Glitch. So let's dive into the details. We'll start with the limited time events. Systemera still plans on running their LTEs with new rewards, but they are also going to introduce some new balancing to existing events, release new rewards, and possibly making alterations to the events themselves. In typical Systemera fashion, there isn't any specific information. We do know that we will see an all-new event next month, however. The EXO Cares event is listed at the bottom of the roadmap and features an image of sap coming out of the trees of Silva. The EXO Cares event usually runs sometime around April with the theme of cleaning up the planets in keeping with Earth Day. That previously had us scrapping the debris found on all of the planets, but the spring content update image includes what must be the long-fabled tree tap. If you're newer to Astroneer, the tree tap has been teased and discussed more times than I can count. The legend of the tree tap has run almost as long as the legend of the space snails did before they were finally added to the game almost 2 years ago. Putting the concept of the tree tap, which is pictured as part of the spring content update, together with the EXO Cares event image, and it looks like the two probably go hand in hand. January will also introduce an anniversary update as the first of 3 content updates. The featured image has an Astroneer holding what resembles a giant floppy disk. If you don't know what a floppy disk is, well, Google it. Anyways, how this floppy disk ties into the new limited time event or the anniversary update is anyone's guess. Joe did show us this unique EXO Research Aid cap during the annual Extra Life charity stream earlier this month and mentioned it in reference to this brand new limited time event. Maybe the floppy disk is inside of the EXO Research Aid? I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough since it's coming next month. And I want to pause here to remind you that it is not too late to make a donation to Extra Life and get some cool cosmetics for Astroneer in return. If you donate $5, you get the Extra Life visor. If you donate $15 or more, you get the visor plus the Extra Life palette. Both are incredibly cool, and your donations go to help Seattle Children's Hospital provide life-changing medical care to children regardless of their family's ability to pay. I've left a link in the description so you can make a donation to a great charity and get some sweet cosmetics as well. Now, back to the roadmap. Spring and summer of 2024 will bring us content updates, which we should expect to be smaller updates as the Systemera team will be focused on a full-on expansion to come near the end of the year. And as I mentioned earlier, all of this has a theme, the Year of the Glitch. Joe says each update in the Year of the Glitch will contain new content and lore building towards a mystery expansion. Shortly before that, he wrote, "We're in a post-awakening world and everything is not what it seems. The world is changing." And aside from another image we'll look at in a moment, that's it. That's the roadmap. As I said, it doesn't really provide any details. There is one other image featured in the roadmap blog. To the right are a couple of new suits. I don't know why, but the one at the top reminds me of the egg robot aliens from The Fifth Element. The one at the bottom, who knows? Tell me what you think inspired it down in the comments. To the left, however, are some shelters. The upper portion is clearly concept art for a new full-size shelter. You can see the power cable plugs, the tier 1 storage slots on the side, and a door. The one to the right even appears to have some graffiti on the side. The ones at the bottom look like field shelters. Both have a power cable plug in the tier 1 slot. Both are clearly smaller than the shelters above and both have a door. What I find interesting in these, however, appears near the top of the one in the bottom left corner. Is it just me, or does that look like a tier 2 storage slot on top? If those are field shelters, that would be the first time a tier 2 slot appears on any shelter. Yeah, I know the train depots for the rail missions have a couple of tier 2 slots on top, but that depot isn't a shelter. All 4 designs are definitely a new spin on all of the various assets we have so far. They are familiar and yet altogether different. It will be interesting to see what, if any, new design language we'll see in shelters and maybe even platforms, storage, modules, and vehicles. So let's move on to my opinion. I want to start by saying that Astroneer has clearly been a labor of love for Systemera. They have continued to introduce content updates far beyond what they originally planned. While I haven't always been able to celebrate each and every change introduced over the past 5 years, I recognize the talent and passion that goes into making Astroneer a great game that I think absolutely everyone should play. I have nothing but respect for the team at Systemera. I say all of that because there is one thing that they do that has always annoyed me. Stay with me here. Joe mentions that it is too early to share in-depth detail, but then goes on to say they want to maintain transparency and let us know what to expect. Except as roadmaps go, this one isn't so much a map telling us where we're going as it is another in a long line of carefully planned teases. I have no idea what to expect, and I don't see much that I would label as transparency. Real talk, Joe, I don't like it. No, not the roadmap or what's coming. What I don't like is the way you do the coy little I know something you don't know tease and slow reveal. Look, I get it, it's too early to give details, that's fine. A lot of decisions have to be finalized, stuff has to be coded, assets have to be made, but honestly, I would much rather you just stick to what you can tell us without the air of mystery or a tease. And I definitely don't want roadmaps where nearly 2/3 of the freaking map is missing. I mean, Joe, if this is your idea of a map, then I am absolutely astounded that you were able to drive from the East Coast to the West Coast without winding up in the Arctic Circle instead. Moving on from that, I am excited to see there is more Astroneer lore still to come. I just hope this time it doesn't come in the form of me standing in front of a control panel reading about it in the past tense. If I want to read lore, I'll grab a book. When I play a video game, I want the lore to be the game. I want to experience it. I want that story to be told in the world around me. I don't want it in white text on the blue background of yet another mission log control panel box thingamajig. I know Astroneers don't talk and there's no narrator, but that does not mean the story cannot unfold in the world around me. That is what originally drew me into Astroneer in the first place. Not one single piece of written lore has ever inspired me with the same sense of awe and wonder, that sense that I was experiencing the story as it unfolded, as when I first discovered a gateway chamber and its oddstone and the gateway fast travel network and the mysterious satellite and the gateway engine pillars and the core itself. Coupled with all of the debris from EXO, I got the very real sense of a story playing out all around me, and it was absolutely magical. Text on a screen has never come close to recreating those moments for me in Astroneer. Okay, well, I do concede that the Wanderer's camera portion in Awakening made me cry, but that's definitely the exception. The rest of it, I was like, cool story, bro. Moving on to what I think is going to drive the most speculation is what the difference between a content update and an expansion will be. I think the obvious answer will simply be the size and the scope of the expansion versus a content update. When I hear expansion in context of a game, I think of entirely new stories to be told, entirely new places to visit, or entirely new core gameplay. What will the expansion of Astroneer bring? I don't know, but with the theme of Year of the Glitch and nothing being what it seems, coupled with the knowledge from Awakening that the version of the Silva planetary system that we encounter is not an accurate representation of what truly exists, I'm kinda hoping maybe the glitch will allow us to break free from the simulation and explore the solar system as it truly is. Well, as it truly is according to lore anyway. Glacio with a hot and a cold side. Gold on Calidor. frickin' Decilo being split into 2. That alone would qualify as an expansion to me. But there's absolutely nothing mentioned in Joe's blog post to give us any clue about how the word expansion will apply to Astroneer, aside from the fact it'll be a bigger update than the content updates in January and again in the spring and summer of next year. I also wonder if the expansion will be another in a long line of free updates or if it'll be a paid expansion. Joe mentioned that Systemera has already released 20 free updates for Astroneer. That free part jumped out at me as I read the rest of the blog post. This year is going to be different. An expansion is coming. I may be reading too much into it, but I do wonder if it'll be another free update or not. I suspect it'll be free, but the wording of the blog definitely opens the door to the possibility that it won't be. And that's it. That's the roadmap coverage. I just spent way more time than I intended talking about a few pictures, an incomplete roadmap, and 373 words written by Joe. Now, it's your turn. I want to hear your thoughts on this roadmap, the reworked LTEs, the content updates, and the expansion. Are you hyped? What do you think the big glitchy mystery is going to be? And are you also surprised that Joe can drive across country if this is his idea of a map? Tell me all about it in the comments. I've left a link to the blog post in the description down below if you want to read it for yourself as well. Whatever 2024 holds for Astroneer, I will be here to bring you the news on each and every detail in videos like this one, plus incorporate all of the changes into Astroneer Academy. If you haven't yet heard of Astroneer Academy, it is a series of helpful videos created by several community members that covers every single detail of Astroneer. Whether you are brand new to the game or a seasoned player with thousands of hours, I promise you will learn something new in Astroneer Academy. Our second semester of courses should begin shortly after the new year, so be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss it. And with that, until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.